Can a One Piece TCG player accurately predict how good Shadowverse cards are? Let's find out with our very special guest, Outer Orange. The only thing you need to know is we're judging the cards based on how they were in the rotation format and no other format. So let's get into it. Underworld Captain. It's a 7-cost Shadow card. So in Evolve, Shadow and Blood got mixed into Abysscraft.
Yes.
Blood is more like hit yourself to do stuff, and Shadow is more like my guys die to do stuff. Fanfare, summon a zombie and a zombie buccaneer and activate the zombie buccaneer's fanfare. So a zombie is a 2/2. A zombie buccaneer is a 2/2. Gain the ability when it dies, summon a zombie. And then whenever an allied zombie or zombie buccaneer comes into play, they gain Storm. And then last words, you resummon this guy. If it dies, it just comes back. And also on Evolve, you summon another zombie buccaneer and activate its effect as well. So you can essentially get a turn 7 2/4 plus 2/2 plus 2/2 plus 2/2, and 6 of that damage can go face.
Yep. So I'm really into decks like this. This is like where I'm strongest. And revival decks are usually really good. And the fact that this can kind of spam itself over and over again sounds really good. The stats on the card themselves, like the 4/6, 4/7 sounds kind of bad.
If it's unevolved, it's 2/4. It's only 4/6 when it's evolved. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It feels kind of 4/7. That's the only thing that's pushing me away from saying it's really good, because it's the fact that it's a 7/4/2/4. But then you get all these other buys, and you can evolve and get all this stuff, and you can kind of recursion it over and over again. But it's a recent-ish set, and it's a legendary too on top of that. Usually legendaries are pretty good. I'm gonna stay with my gut because, like I said, revival decks are usually good, or any form of reviving or bringing dudes back or bringing dudes in and storm. And also seems like an aggro deck, and aggro usually decks like this like to close out. So I'm gonna lock it in as good.
Locking it in?
Locking it good.
This card is really bad, unfortunately.
Are there any good cards on this list?
You're absolutely correct. 2/4 is an abysmal stat line.
That's what
for
was
a
holding me
7-cost.
back.
Yeah. By turn 7, turn 8, you want to be winning the game, not just summoning a bunch of dudes. And it's only 6 damage on the turn it's played, which is not very much. Any class that can banish it or remove its effect also just makes it nullifies the last words. So you can exile it, basically, and the last words.
I didn't know that.
I would say that there are more bad legendaries in Shadowverse than there are good ones.
Oh, really? Yeah. I didn't know.
There are obviously a lot of really good ones, and the good ones are really good, but there's maybe it's 50-50, but there's a lot of really bad legendaries too. Rarity has never been a mark of quality in this game.
Man, I knew the stats were bad too, but I don't know, because if it's a fast enough deck, maybe at 7 it's just enough damage to where your opponent's already down. So I don't know. It made sense to me, maybe, to be being decent.
To give you a bit of context, this is a card from the 29th set, and it's a 7-cost 2/4 that summons a couple of zombies. There's a card from the 4th set that has higher stats and does better things than this.
Dang, that's crazy.
If you're enjoying this video and you want to see more content like it, make sure you subscribe. Thank you. Lily, Crystalian Balance. It's a forest card. 2/2. Fanfare, restore 2 to your leader. Give your leader the following effect until the end of your opponent's turn. Whenever an enemy follower with Storm attacks your leader, give it -2 attack. So before the damage calculation, the enemy with Storm gets debuffed. And then on Evolve, you transform an enemy follower into a snowman. And a snowman is a 1/1.
That's so cute. I love it. And it's a forest. You restore, you give yourself health, and then you also -2 attack on your opponent's attacking unit, which is pretty decent. Like that effect, both those effects are good. The snowman thing, I have no idea, because it's kind of like the Bane effect, where it's like it lowers it back, but
the minus attack effect only affects enemy followers that have Storm. If they were from the previous turn and don't have Storm, they don't have that debuff. So like if you played a card on the previous turn and then are attacking it with it on the next turn, it doesn't get debuffed. It's only cards that have the Storm keyword.
My gut says it's bad. Let me think. The snowman effect, the evolve sounds good, but I don't know if you want to use it. You can't spam it because you only have 3 evolve points. That part has to be cope, because you're not gonna. At max you can do it 3 times, but you're wasting your evolve points on turning things into snowmen. The only upside I see out of this is the fact that if your person drops like a fake body and they're like, "Look at my big body, I wasted a whole turn for it," and then you're like, "Now it's a snowman," and it seems pretty useful. I think that interaction seems useful if you're willing to put that. And Forest tends to spam cards. The 2 life back is pretty good. The -2 defense can be good, now that I know it's not as timing, the timing isn't always perfect for it. This is so tough. I don't know if anything in the game cares about stuff turning into snowmen. The only thing is, I guess if you have a win con And then this thing turns into a snowman, and they're out of win con range again. So you can basically slow down your opponent. It's either really good or really bad. I don't think
50-50. Toss a coin.
My gut says it's bad. Locking it in. Bad.
This card is insanely good. It's so good. It has gate kept so many decks single-handedly. So one, it restores 2, which is fine.
Good. Yeah.
It's fine. But remember that you can also bounce Lily. Forestcraft is a class that has a lot of bouncing effects.
Yeah, it does.
On a turn where you think they're going to drop a Stormer, which is a lot of decks win conditions, you drop the Lily. Their Stormer deals way less damage. Then you bounce Lily, and you can recycle that effect over and over and over again. So they can basically never get any damage in while you're assembling your own win condition. Secondly, the Transform effect, you were right. It is less impactful than the Fanfare, but it is still good because you evolve. This gains Rush. So it can attack into something while dealing with another body itself. So it's kind of like a 2-for-1 effect. And also if a follower has like a last words, like that Underworld pirate captain we saw last time, transforming it into a snowman gets rid of that last words. So it loses that effect. This card is incredibly good. And pretty much every deck ever in Forest that has seen play since this card has been introduced has played it at 3 copies.
That makes sense. I guess it was either really good or really bad. Like
lost to 50-50, never lucky.
Nope. Wasn't sure if people cared about the evolve effect, or if the defense mattered that much, because I also know there's a bunch of other cards that can also heal you. So that was like kind of where I was kind of iffy about it.
The fact that you can bounce this is so good, because like if they're ever trying to do chip damage to you with storms, it basically just nullifies that entire like early to mid game. In their late game, there's like very specific thresholds of damage where like, okay, I need to deal, if I have all of my storm pieces available, it does 19 damage. But if you play Lily and you're minusing 2 every time a storm hits you, that 19 can quickly become like 12 or like 15.
And that matters.
And that matters a lot because then on the next turn you win. So yeah, Lily is incredibly powerful. Moving on, we got Bolt Devil, 8 cost 6/6 for blood. Fanfare, you summon 2 more of this guy. So you get 18 stats. 18 stats for 1 card.
Okay.
At the end of your turn, deal 6 damage to a random enemy follower, then 2 to the enemy leader. So each guy deals 6 damage, so you're dealing 18 damage total to the enemy board, and then 6 to the enemy leader after you play this.
Wow, what a card. And the stats are a little funky on it, but they're not as bad as the other dude. The random dealing 6 feels annoying, but the 2 feels good. But 8 is really heavy. 8 feels super heavy, and we did talk about the whole, like, you should be killing... or the opponent should be dead or basically dead at this point. Like it might be good, but it's just too late, like a turn too late. Like the difference could be that 1 turn, and this card just is out of that threshold of it being too late. And also, there's no storm or anything on it, so they can't. They can evolve, but you can't. Like the other 2 dudes can't attack. It's bad.
Locking it in.
Locking in bad.
It's bad. It's really bad. In rotation, it's way too late. It's a super controlling card, but like 6 damage to a random, it's honestly like if you think about it, if they're a deck that has a bunch of weenies that doesn't really do anything because you just kill like 1/1s and stuff. If they're a deck that has really big guys, it also doesn't really do anything. And it's like you said, it's way too late. You're absolutely correct. Dealing only 6 damage total to the enemy leader. This is a turn where you're supposed to be dealing 20 damage, and you're dealing 6. So yeah, it's way too late. I will say though, it's incredibly good in Arena, the draft format, because in that format, games tend to go on way later. You don't have like clean finishes like you do in Constructed, so you just land this guy, and if they can't clear it, you win the board.
You win.
But in Constructed, it's never ever been played, so you are absolutely correct.
Makes sense. It feels like the kind of thing whereas if it lives, it's good, but also like if the game, if it's too fast, then you can't get to it in time.
It's just way too late and does way too little. Really good in Arena though, so. You're on the board. Okay. Another point.
I'll just head out. It's been real, guys.
No, we got 2 more. It's time. Redemption Arc. So this is a card for Portal Craft. It's a legendary. 7 cost 6/6. Banish all other followers. Enhance 8. Discard 2 cards from the random 2 cards from the enemy's hand.
It's still falling under the same threshold as the Bolt dude, where it might be too late for a card like this to drop. But banishing is pretty good. You have to banish all other followers. That includes everything but itself.
Yeah,
that includes your board.
Include your board. Yeah.
And then the enhance. What is enhance?
So basically, you can play this on 7 for just this effect, or you can pay 8 instead, so just 1 extra. and you can do this. You can do this too.
Okay, so basically you can add an extra play point to do the second part.
Yeah.
So the second part feels whatever. To the 2 random discards doesn't feel painful at all. I feel like most decks don't care. One Piece has something similar like this, and to be honest, it's more of like a ugh, that's annoying than like ooh, it's broken. But the first effect, the banishing, seems pretty good because if there's like certain troublesome cards and just things that would bother that have been like just annoying, you can just deal with it pretty easily. Also, banish, it's out of the game basically, so. They're if they wanted to play those cards again, or if there's cards like Forest where they want to bounce, they lose those kind of stuff.
Or like with Shadow, if you want to get it back from the graveyard, like you can't do that either.
Yeah. Basically, revival decks that really it's kind of like a form of bottom decking. You basically lose it. In One Piece bottom decking, you basically lose it because there's no way to directly search and shuffle. Like once it's the bottom, it's kind of gone. Honestly, again, we're going back to this whole. It's a 7. The stats are okay, but it's a 7. You should be, if you're playing this card, you're basically stopping your opponent, but you're also stopping yourself. And that's a problem because you, again, like you mentioned earlier, you should be killing at this point, but you do give yourself, I guess, a turn to work with. But chances are they could also drop into the body and kill you. So I'm going to say it's bad.
It's not super bad. It's like
not as bad.
Controlling portal decks play this, and people are annoyed by controlling portal decks. You're absolutely correct. They're like, oh, when you fight against control portal, it's annoying because they take forever and they discard your hand. But it's not it's not like actually that big a deal. You're absolutely correct. It's more annoying than it is good. I wouldn't say it's the card itself is super bad. It's just that, like you said, turn 7, turn 8, you're trying to win. And this is a control deck that doesn't have like super good payoffs outside of this card. People have claimed, oh, I fought Control Portal on ladder and I lost. This deck is so annoying. But it's never really ever put up results ever. So it
makes sense.
It's a deck that people play on ladder to annoy other people, but it's not actually good. Yeah, I'll give you a point for that. I would say it's more mid than bad, but yeah.
It's playable, but it's nothing like crazy.
There was a deck called Condemned where you could play this, and it was good in that deck, but you really only played it as a one-of because you had to. It's basically a Highlander deck, but the Highlander effect is that whenever you play it enhanced, you only pay 2 for it. So you play this card for 2 cost. So you get a 2 cost, discard, banish everything, which is awesome.
See, that sounds better.
Yeah.
That sounds way better.
It wasn't even the best card in that deck. Last card, Haven Legendary. It just came out last set. 6 cost, 6/8. Storm Ward. Fanfare, if you have more evolution points, evolve this follower and it can't be destroyed by effects. And it also, intrinsically, can't take more than 3 damage at a time.
This card's hilarious. I mean, everything on this card reads really good. So the stats are good, the drop is good, everything seems good on it. The fact that you can attack the same turn, basically can't kill it fast enough because it can only take 3 damage at a time. Like, this is probably the only card you've shown me here that I'm actually like, there's no way this is bad. Unless it gets banished by the card we just saw, right? The only downside to this card that I'm seeing is if you have more evolution points than your opponent.
Yeah, it's pretty much only if you're going second that you can guarantee that effect, but
exactly.
Otherwise, yeah.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So that's the only thing I'm not liking about this card. Because it's an on-play effect, so if you play it, if you meet the thing, then it's good. If you don't, then it's just a doo-doo card.
Mm-hmm.
This has to be a big card. There's no way this is that good. It can't be that. There's no way. I will say the stats are good. The stats on it are good. The effect is good. The 50-50 is what's killing it, and the 50-50 is killing it. And there are definitely, I feel like there's some crafts that could play around this. It is kind of like Aegis. There's that Aegis card that basically says it can't be touched, and then like you put your opponent on a timer, and that's exactly what this card is. But
Aegis's defense is much better because it can't be affected. This one only can't be destroyed, so it can still be transformed into a snowman. It can still get banished.
Yeah, this has to be. People probably thought it was good too when they saw it. It's bad. It has to be bad.
I'm so proud of you. Your hit rate improved drastically. You learned so much.
Once I turned out we're only working with like 5 sets, that definitely helped because my brain was like, we're working with all 31 sets.
This card is not good. It's
the 50-50
super
is just
bait
not worth it
because it's overstatted and it only has upsides. So initially people were like, what the hell? This is good. But it's in Haven Craft for one. They have way better, more synergistic things. This has almost no synergy with anything. It's just a in a vacuum good card, which is not good enough in Shadowverse. In Shadowverse, your cards have to be working together. 2, this effect, like you said, it's very conditional. 3, even if it gains the effect, it can still be transformed into a snowman by Lily or whatever. Also, if you play Lily on the turn they play this, it only deals 4 damage to you, right? Because of the reduced storm effect. You can banish it as well. You can cheat it out, kinda, with a 5-cost card to hit 6 to the face, but that's not good enough. Like I said, it doesn't have any other synergies, so it doesn't really work well in any deck. It's just a card that's, oh, this looks good on paper, but it doesn't actually fit anywhere. It doesn't have a home. You got it. You got it.
Did it. Oh my god. I got better as time went on. Let's go. That's just how I am. I'm a slow learner.
Thank you very much to Outer Orange for coming on this video. Make sure you check her out in the description below. And hey, if you want more content like this, why don't you check out part 1 of this series right here.